also want to bring up that there's a difference between the word treat and the word cure. And so um that's just another example of not being given disclosure of the exact definitions of words being used. I was listening to something, and it just the more I thought about what had been done, the more it just pisses me off. Basically, the ones who are calling themselves lawyers are knowingly stealing people's identities. They're knowingly doing it, and they already they're aware of the fact that people saying the word spelled YES is a way that they're stealing people's identities. But that's also the reason why there's dirty dealing, and why they have been violating the separation of powers clause by having lawyers on top of every government corporation in America and lie about working. But because if they were working, then I would have already been given my part of public utilities for as far back as I can remember, and I would have already been given uh, constitutionally protected Social Security. But instead, basically, I'm forced to go where I don't want to go, and have been kidnapped. Forced to give my personal identifiers like my handwriting, forced to give my personal identifiers like IP address, forced to give my personal identifiers like DNA, forced to give my personal identifiers. Why not call them out for what they're doing? And the ones that do it are always cramming religion into people like myself. It's just like, man, I'm sick and tired of it. I really am. I have no intention of murder myself. I'm sick and tired of them. I'm sick and tired of them lying to me and deceiving me and acting dumb and gaslighting me and playing sick head games on me. And typically it deals with somebody that has forced me to go to a government building calling itself a church. And then that's where the psychopaths are. In their little costumes. And what it is what it is that they lied to people and by telling people they had to get a marriage license and lied to people and didn't disclose that the word bench means bank, BANC, which sounds like bank, BANK. And that's just it. Why would I want to be around somebody who is intentionally deceptive, who basically is premeditatedly murdering me and is my identity thiever. Who never put stuff in writing. But because if they had put the stuff in writing, then basically, I mean, and that's what they do. So never do they put the stuff in writing that they're telling me that I have to or need to or forcing me to do. Never. Because that way it would have gone straight back up to them. But that's also the reason why they never gave me classes on contracting. I mean, I'm calling them out for what they are, neglect to educators. I mean, they have classes in the buildings calling themselves churches. They have classes in the buildings calling themselves libraries. They have classes in schools calling themselves elementary schools, high schools, colleges, universities. I mean, so I mean, it's just like, wow. And intentionally keeping books and classes and samples away from me in order to violate the charters that required I was given an education to be able to enjoy my fruits. And they sit there and talk about reconciliation. It's just like, why the hell do I want to reconcile with somebody who scammed me, who fucked me out of and fucked me over? I mean, it's just like, are you fucking out of your mind? Just like the ones forcing me to give my personal identifiers in order to be able to use a computer. That's what they've done. Is basically by forcing me to give my personal identifiers on the computers that I don't know, and that's how they basically been able to hack my computers. And basically have been destroying what I wrote. That's how they were able to know how to respond at one of the government meetings, is by reading what people wrote in different emails. I mean, I don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that one out. No, I don't have to have a PhD in science. So that's where it's tied into Mr. William Gates. Etc. Just like there's no researcher license from an independent state licensing agency, the same ones. But see, it's going back to the Department of Education. The neglect to educators call themselves what do they call themselves? My public servants call themselves school principals, professors, faculty members, school board members, superintendents, assistant superintendents, building principals, elementary school principals, assistant school principals, school secretary, school administrator, school board. I don't know if I forgot if I said school board member. So basically what they end up doing is they end up intentionally keeping stuff away from people. And they I mean, it's the whole thing. They're the same ones who've been bullying me. Same ones who've been hazing me. Same ones that have forced me to get my personal identifiers under songs I didn't write, dances I didn't write, papers that I didn't write, computer programs I didn't write, spreadsheets I didn't write, postcards I didn't write, etc. But it's worse than that. What they've done is evidently the Department of Education is calling himself a church by having mission statements, because missions are for churches. And I think that's the reason why they have music inside government buildings, and that's the reason why they basically forced me to take music classes. After forcing me to go where I didn't want to go.